Black Ops 6 has a few marquee items that have been hit on pretty hard in the marketing. Every year, one or two things they really focus on is like, hey, look at this cool advancement in the game. But while there's been a few things that have stood out already, there's honestly a lot of features and major overhauls to existing systems that are in play here with Black Ops 6. So today, I want to run down a few of those with you so you're in the loop with every major upgrade to the game that you can expect to see, or at least that we know of as of right now. Drop your thoughts down below. If you enjoyed the video, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to stay updated with all things Black Ops 6 as we gear up for further reveals into the summer. I'd love to have in the communities we chase down 600,000 subscribers. But for now, let's get into it. Firstly, let's start out with the obvious ones. One of those ones that was one of the key things that they've just absolutely stressed on, the movement system being overhauled with Omni movement. We've talked about it before, so I won't stay on it too long, but Omni movement is that ability to sprint in any direction, 360 degrees. This also, by extension, allows for full slide to dive in any direction. You can jump onto your back, you can dive onto your side, all of that. It makes for some really cinematic experiences and also keeps that pace of play up. There also were a handful of other further movement systems overhauled. You have Supine prone, which is going to be the ability to roll over prone on your side, stomach, back. You have that full range of motion while prone, and it will open up a lot of options for gunfights come Black Ops 6. You're going to have that new corner slice mechanic, which is that slight lean, which is intuitive to player movement, speed, and entry angle, so giving you a little bit of a quick little peek around a corner before fully going around it. You'll have that new intelligent movement system, which is an accessibility feature that is going to allow you to, without pressing any buttons, chain together multiple movements, whereas again, it would take like half a dozen to a dozen buttons to end up going from a mantle to a crouch to a jump to a prone. All that kind of stuff will do it intelligently with the world around you. And then the animation updates that we've talked about already. One cool thing that I'm looking forward to here, not just on top of the more cinematic death sequences and different dynamic death cams, is you can actually take enemies as human shields. You have the ability to take a meat shield in this game like you could in Black Ops Cold War's campaign, but now actually in multiplayer as well too, which is going to add a lot to the dynamics of the gameplay experience, I think. Beyond that, further systems that have been overhauled and adjusted, the Gunsmith. We have a mixture of the Gunsmith that we're used to and also something we're like seeing in Black Ops Cold War, where you have up to 8 attachments, wild cards returning. You have a dedicated melee slot in this game, which will be interesting, and I think it's the first time we've seen that since Modern Warfare Remastered. You have the new combat specialties, which is going to be a sort of new 4th bonus perk that comes along if you end up having 3 of the same category of perks equipped. You'll have a weapon prestige system, which might deal with the weapon badge system, kind of maybe something dealing with camos, but you're going to be able to prestige your weapons, actually prestiging them, as opposed to like, yeah, the weapon prestige camos right now in Modern Warfare 3 that are just XP based, but this, you can presumably relock all of your attachments and do weapon prestige all over again. And the shooting range has already been confirmed to be returning, among other things. For weaponry, you're going to see the returning feature of Mastercrafts. This has already been shown off in the Vault Edition, where you're going to end up getting 5 different weapon Mastercrafts. So not a vault like we've seen the last 2 years, where it doesn't give you any sort of head start on weapon unlocks as the time of the beta and the full launch of the game. You're going to end up having some cool skins, but you're not going to have all of the attachments associated with each of those weapons already unlocked, which I'm personally okay with. The progression system is completely overhauled here, returning back to Black Ops 4 and 2018, the last time we saw a classic prestige system. That's crazy to say that it's been that long, but the classic prestige system is indeed returning. 10 prestiges, 1,000 levels beyond that, which may change the dynamic of how maybe your camo grind goes, maybe how you approach unlocking and progressing weapons, and so on and so forth. I'm really curious to see how this is going to work in Warzone, because presumably it's also going to be coming into Warzone by extension, because every single game since Warzone launched has had that current game's ranking system brought over into that experience. So we'll see how that affects, again, your loadouts and everything, but for at least Black Ops 6, the progression itself, it's been overhauled for this, returning back to a classic. Theater mode is a feature that is returning that I'm personally really excited for. Seemingly a must-have in Treyarch titles, like this is a standard at this point, but for nobody else. But to see it on the current tech with the COD HQ and the current engine, it brings me hope that maybe next year, 2026, 2027, and every year following, that maybe these tools will be there as a staple again for the Call of Duty franchise. The first time since the early 2010s with that 3-year stint of Black Ops, Modern Warfare 3, and Black Ops 2. I will say, one thing that I do distinctly remember from our time at Treyarch Studio was the devs pushing, hey, if you like this, use it. They see that data and we're kind of inferring that the future really comes down to how much almost like return on investment there is for it. Not necessarily saying like the money has to be there for a theater mode because you can't monetize that, but more so on using up resources to upkeep and improve it as time progresses for the return on the amount of players actually using it. So a heads up, if you enjoyed that feature, make sure you use it. You could actually be solidifying it coming back in a later game by using it. Next, the Safe House is a returning feature from Black Ops Cold War that is going to be returning in campaign. This one I'm actually really stoked for. I don't know if it's just me or not. I loved Cold War's campaign. I thought that they did a phenomenal job with it, and some of the avenues that went in between some of those submissions, the quests, multiple endings, loved that. I hope that returns for Black Ops 6. And of course, the Safe House where you could get that intel, check intel you collected, do side missions, talk with your characters in your rogue squad, do Easter eggs, progress things like your Dark Ops challenges. There was just so much that it added, I think, to the replayability and the gameplay loop of campaign instead of just saying, okay, you finished that mission, let's go on to the next one. It's returning here as you're in an old CIA black site, and seemingly, again, it'll come with all the same functionality you remember from Cold War. The evidence board, upgrade stations for various parts of your gameplay, you can talk to your cast of your rogue squadron, and more. So really looking forward to that one. In terms of campaign, another returning feature or sort of overhaul to some of the existing campaign missions is the open world nature of the campaign. Now, it's not described like Modern Warfare 3, and thank God, because I thought that that was just very poorly done. Instead, more like Black Ops Cold War. The mission that was heavily referenced in our meeting with developers and the presentation they showed us was Desperate Measures, the mission in Cold War where you had to infiltrate the Lubyanka building, and in that mission, your objective was all the same. The end goal was always the same point, letting in Adler and I forget who it was with you into the Lubyanka building by the tunnels underneath. But you could get there in multiple distinct ways. You had the options to either poison Sharkov, frame Sharkov, persuade a prisoner in an interrogation, or reprogram a key card. All in the efforts, again, to get to that next step, which each next step had some sublines where your choices ended up getting you to the same place, but you didn't do the same thing after each of those. But how you got to the end goal, A to B, was not always the same. That was up to you. It seems like we're going to be having a lot more missions like that and not Modern Warfare 3 Spec Ops knockoff campaign missions, which, again, great. I get it, the game was made in 16 months, you just kind of had to cobble something together. It just kind of sucks that it wasn't fleshed out as it could have been, and it kind of like hurt the image of an open world type of campaign in Call of Duty. But yeah, a more open world nature is coming back to campaign with Black Ops 6. Very much so looking forward to that. Zombies, of course, has been overhauled as well. More so overhauled in the sense of returning back to a sense of normalcy. Round-based returns for the first time since Cold War. We didn't have it in Modern Warfare 2. Modern Warfare 3 Zombies was something but didn't get any support. Vanguard Zombies was kind of abysmal if you ask me, but after 3 years, round-based does return, and with 2 maps at launch. So that's something that I'm really looking forward to. Gobblegum being in Black Ops 6 is a returning feature all the way from Black Ops 3, which, do you guys feel old when you think about how long ago Black Ops 3 was? Like, that seems crazy to me. So you're going to have an in-game power-up system with Gobblegums once again. How that ends up being handled in terms of distribution and earning of Gobblegums, we don't quite know. But beyond that, the UI and UX, the user interface, has been overhauled. And listen, it's not going to be entirely different. We're still a part of that COD HQ, so there's going to be remnants of what you're still seeing from Modern Warfare 2 and the disgusting Hulu menu, but it seems like on all fronts, we're starting to move away from that Hulu design on menus. More verticality is seen in the menu footage with the reveal, which is definitely nice. You also are going to see in the UI and UX category, the winner circle and emotes coming back, so that is something that's a featured system that is returning. Visual fidelity and the in-game rendering systems seem to be entirely overhauled. They describe that there is a ton of photogrammetry used in this game, more so than others, and that means that they scanned thousands of textures in real-life imaging, then translated that into game, not just designing textures or anything like that. So that is going to equate to some of the highest quality textures in the game that once you start playing it at 1440p, 4K, it's going to look phenomenal. And I can't wait for that. I love that. I love maxing out the potential of each game each year on my PC. So looking forward to that big time. And then finally, probably the biggest overhaul to Black Ops 6 as a whole. This one's another sort of very marketed thing right now, but Black Ops 6 is going to be day one on Game Pass. So for the first time in Call of Duty history, you, to a degree, don't have to pay for Call of Duty if you're on Xbox and already have a Game Pass subscription. So that is something that is a huge change to the franchise as a whole, not necessarily just the Black Ops 6 gameplay experience, but that is we're going to round out the overhauls and features returning in Black Ops 6 that you should know of. So that said, that is where we're going to wrap it up. Let me know your thoughts down below. Is there anything you think I missed that you would like to add to this list? Anything you're looking forward to? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts down below. But if you enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Black Ops 6 and more FPS content. I'd love to have you in the community. But for now, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care and peace.